pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome, everybody, to Championship Night here in the Western States Racing League on Sim Racing Media. Tonight, these drivers are going to battle for a championship here at Phoenix, and it is going to be electric. The top two drivers separated by 7 points. Their drop week race is only separated by 2 points. So it is going to be a close battle here all night as these guys just finished up qualifying. We're going to head trackside, but before we do, I'm Mike Demoni up in the booth. Joined with me, as usual, last couple of weeks is Chris. Chris, man, how's it going?
Going really good, Mike. Looking forward to a fantastic race here at Phoenix tonight. Thanks for having me in the booth. Looking to see who's going to take the championship, whether it's going to be Lyle or Chad. Lyle looked really good in practice, so see if he can hold up here throughout the race.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to, see what they're going to do here. We go ahead and go through the starting grid. We've got Bentley Glazer, that 87 Chevy, back on the pole. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks, but looking to stay up front. Lyle Swearingen looking to get a couple bonus points and win the race here, try and maximize his points so he can bring home the championship. Brian Barnes and Jacob Jensen are going to roll off in row 2. Row 3, Ryan Steele and the other championship contender, Chad Simpson. Chad Simpson comes in with a 7-point lead. We'll see where he finishes the race. He only has to lead a lap and I believe finished third if our math is correct here tonight, and he will walk out with the championship here in season 52. Bob Beltrami is going to start in the 7th position with Chad Stearns just to his outside. Earl Weaver and Julian Ricci are going to roll off in row 5. Row 6, David Weaver and the 242 of Scott Kukas. Barry Phil and Wayne Fleet in row 7. Row 8, Ron Hollingfield and Chris Simard in that Kingsford 77 Chevy. 2 drivers that didn't take a qualifying lap is going to be JTW in that 55 Toyota, and the 07 of Keith Kellman is going to start shotgun on the field, but they are getting ready to roll off here, and we are getting ready to let these guys show what they can do here at Phoenix.
WRSL has ran five truck races here at Phoenix over the years. 5 different winners. 2 of those guys here tonight, Ryan Steele and Bentley Glazer. Bentley picked up the win back in 2023 with Ryan picking up his win in 21. So let's see if one of those guys can come back and see if they can add to their win total here. Ryan's looked pretty good in practice. See if he can stay up in the front, and you got Bentley right there on the pole.
Yeah, definitely. As you see that long back straightaway, the pace car is in the pit lane, and they are set to go as they get ready to head into the front stretch here. We'll call it the front stretch. You know, Phoenix and their dog leg setup here, but we are down and away. Green flag racing. Bentley Glazer with a heck of a start. Going to cut that dog leg and head down close to that pit lane.
We watched a lot of F1 races. That would be a track limits right there. But if you're at Phoenix, you can just go just about wherever you want. That yellow line really doesn't mean anything. And really great start there from Bentley Glazer. Put about a truck length on Lyle right there, half a lap into the race.
Yeah, Phoenix is one of those tracks where you'll see these drivers go clear up almost to the wall, as you saw there, to the start-finish line, and they will cut that dogleg as much as they can. They just have to be careful that no truck is driving on the track there, and 'cause they don't have to let them back in.
Now, you would think it looks like it's a big advantage cutting the track off right there, but a lot of times those guys on the outside can just keep up enough momentum that you'll see them run up along that outside, and that cutting that inside doesn't really help all the time. As you can see, Jensen out there make a little bit of ground up on Swearingen.
Glazer
Big
with
mover
the
last week
fastest
was
lap.
Christian Bishop. Going from what, 20 to 4th last week or something like that. He's not here tonight though. Let's see who's going to be our big mover tonight in this race.
Yeah, definitely something to watch. A lot of drivers seem to might have a issue with the massive iRacing update that we had today, but Bentley Glazer has that truck on rails. Fastest lap of the race, 27:26 a couple laps ago. Lyle Swearingen, 27:47 last lap was his quickest lap, so we'll see if he can close the gap a little bit.
Chad Simpson taking a dive underneath Jacob Jensen there for that 3rd spot, but Jensen with a good run up on the outside, able to hold him back there. Here they come. What turn are we on? I'm a little confused here at Phoenix myself. Chad making a run back up underneath as he heads down that back straightaway.
Now Chad trying to get to the inside there of Jensen. Jensen holding that outside line strong.
Glazer's now stretched his lead out to about almost a second and a half now over Swearingen. Didn't try to do the last couple weeks. We tried to do some math, guessing when the green flag stops might come, and we got a caution.
Ooh.
ATW. ATW finds himself turned around, looking the wrong way, but he gets her going again. Doesn't look like a lot of damage on the truck.
Let's take a look, see what happened here. Wayne Fleet.
I think gets a little wiggle down the straightaway there. They kind of meet in the middle, right on that right rear quarter, and that just turns JTW right up into the fence.
A little damage on that right front side there.
It pancaked that a little bit, didn't it? We got a few drivers diving in for an early pit stop. David Weaver, Scott Kukas, Ryan Bears, Bob Beltrami, Ryan Steele, all diving into the pits here, taking on early set of tires.
They just looks like Brian Barnes, Beltrami, and Steele just took fuel, so only spent under 5 seconds in their box.
That's Steele back in the pits for a second time.
Yeah.
So Glazer with a great start there. Only 8 laps into this race, but he was starting to pull away. He was having almost a 2-second lead over Swearingen. Swearingen's going to have to get up in at least lead 1 lap to get a bonus point if he's going to have a chance to take that championship away from Chad Simpson here.
Yeah, Chad Simpson just needs to stay basically within shouting distance there of Swearingen. We'll see if it's more of a defensive battle here as far as Simpson goes. Pace truck makes that left-hand turn down pit lane as the drivers are all set, headed down the backstretch here, all under Bentley Glazer's control.
Bentley to jump on the throttle here a little early. And he does. He gets a great jump on Swearingen, and actually Jensen gets a really good jump here from that third inside of the second row spot. He's going to jump up and take second away from Swearingen.
A side-by-side battle there between Swearingen and Simpson.
With a good run on the outside, he's going to clear Simpson. He's going to get up along Jensen here, try to get that second spot back.
Yeah, Swearingen ran almost 200 laps in practice, so I'm sure he knows what line that truck wants to run.
He's going to run almost 3 races full of laps here before this is over with. But Glazer just starting to pull away again. He's already half a second out in front of the field here. Swearingen making that outside work really well. You can see they're both going to go down and take that inside line. Jensen's going to be able to hold on to that second spot. Back in that 5th spot, we see the 05 of Toyota, Chad Stearns. The first time we've seen him in a few weeks. But he's got himself up here in the top 5 looking for a good finish. He's moved up 3 spots from his 8th starting position.
Still side by side there. Those guys are battling pretty tight. We've got Babs in the chat as usual, cheering for Chad Simpson. Like they're moving from Texas to Missouri by the end of the month, so be a little bit closer to Allen there. And of course, Butch Davis saying he that it sucks to miss the race because of the iRacing update.
I kind of figured that's what happened.
I mean, he has all of the iRacing content, so I'm sure it was quite a bit. I mean, I don't have all of it, and mine was still 30 gigs, so, you know.
Yeah, Butch Davis, winner of the last 2 races. I think he was looking forward to Phoenix here, try to get a 3-peat. Shame he wasn't able to make it. As we're looking at that, Swearingen's able to clear Jensen. As a matter of fact, Simpson also by Jensen. So Swearingen up to 2nd, Simpson to 3rd. Right now, Simpson doing exactly what he has to do to take this championship. Glazier just looks like he has his Phoenix Speedway down. He is a second and a half away. And you can see right there, he's about a good 10, 15 car lengths out in front of this battle for second.
You can see just how far he is driving away. I mean, if you tuned in any other week and this is the shot you saw, you would think that Lyle Swearingen's coming up on somebody to get lapped.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Lyle Swearingen, Chad Simpson battling up here for the lead. Well, no, Bentley Glazer shows up and is putting on a clinic right now, 17 laps into this race at Phoenix.
Yeah, Bentley's sitting back in 6 in the point standings. He can move up into the top 5 here if he can stay up here out in the front and Ryan Steele doesn't finish very well. He's looking to get his second win here at Phoenix with the WSRL. He is in command of this race right now. Almost a 2-second advantage. Working on our 18th lap out of 125 laps. Already got one caution. We can go caution free the rest of the way. We haven't really had that. A couple weeks we've been together, since I've been here anyway, I haven't really seen a lot of fuel mileage races. There always seems to be enough cautions that guys are able to come in and fuel up.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it seems to go. But I'm thinking with the drivers that we had show up here at Phoenix and the way they've been running, it might turn into one of those few and far between fuel mileage races, especially since you see some of the drivers coming down to get the top off on fuel later in the run. So we'll see how much that actually plays out, because right now Ryan Steele, David Weaver, Brian Barnes, and Bob Beltrami all have extra fuel in the tank as they came in and pitted on that lap 7 caution.
And Bob, if I remember correctly, Bob came out about 15th or 16th after those pit stops. He's already worked his way back up to 9th. He's not trying to conserve any of that extra fuel that he picked up, but he is working his way towards the front of this. Big mover so far is Chris Simrard in a 77 Chevrolet. He has moved up 8 spots, up to 8th after starting in 16th. Like most of the field's pretty much single filed out here. You're looking at it, the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As it looks like Chad Stearns taking a look up underneath Jensen for that 4th spot. He's got a really good run there coming off the corner. Let's see if Jensen can get a run off the top, coming in that back straightaway. And he is going to be able to clear Stearns and take that 4th spot back away from him.
Good battle back here. Just outside the top 5, you got Chris Simard, Earl Weaver, Bob Beltrami. Beltrami went down the track a little ways. Looks like he was just trying to maybe get a run there, and looks like he will do that and move up into 8th position here as Weaver touches the wall.
Yeah, Simard now up 9 spots up to 7th in that 77 Chevrolet. He's really working his way to the front, trying to catch that number 1 truck of Julian Ricci.
Still have a battle here for 4th between Jensen and Stearns. Stearns keeps getting a run, just can't quite complete the pass as Jensen drives it a little bit harder on that high line and is able to hang on here.
I think you saw the same thing I did. Leaderboard just switching back and forth. They were just going back and forth for that whole last lap. And Stearns now with a run underneath Jensen. Let's see if he can finally clear Jensen here and take that 4th spot away and set his sights on Chris Simpson there in that 3rd position. Or Chad Simpson, sorry. Only Babs yelling at me in the chat for saying the wrong name there. Swear just now put a little bit of distance here on Chad Simpson. Chad just being laying back a little bit, just running conservative, knowing he's exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah, it's definitely a tight points battle. As we said, these guys each have a drop week if they score better than 34 and 36 points respectively. And there's a 7-point difference as of right now, so it kind of is only 5 points with the two that are going to be dropped there. So it's definitely going to be a tight battle here. That's why Chad Simpson and Lyle Swearingen are kind of almost seems like they're playing a little conservative at this moment in time.
It actually looks like Swearingen's actually closing that gap on Glazier a little bit. It was almost 2 seconds. It's back within about 1.7. At least the eye test on the track looks like he's a little bit closer. I'm looking a little further back. We got Chris Samard now up 10 spots up to 6th. He's kind of going back and forth here with Julian Ricci for that 6th position. They've swapped this position back 2 or 3 times now over the last couple of laps. And Bob Beltrami right there behind him, just looking for a hole. See if maybe one of these guys can make a mistake and he can get by both of them.
It definitely seems like that outside line has a little bit better of a run off of the corner, but that inside line has been holding pretty tough looking at some of the battles we've had multiple laps, and it just takes 2, 3, 4 laps before that outside line eventually prevails.
I think you get down to that bottom, you're cutting the distance off, but the track flattens out down there, so you have to lift just a little bit out of the throttle. And the guys up on the outside, up on what banking there is here at Phoenix, can just stay in the throttle a little harder, take a lot more momentum off the corner. Beltrami taking a look up underneath Ricci there for that 7th position. And Bob was one of the trucks that pitted early, took on some fuel, and he made a good charge up here from the back after taking that pit stop.
Yeah, another driver that's kind of moved up is Ryan Steele. Ryan Steele came into a closed pit, so he had to start at the tail end of the field, and he is already up to 14th position, so up 4 spots since he pitted. JTW involved in that early caution. He's up to 15th after spending an extended amount of time on pit lane.
Looking back up towards the front there, Mike, Swearingen is now almost, he's closing the gap on Bentley Glazier there. He's about 1.1 seconds back now. It looks like he's on a charge. He got about almost, it was a 2-second lead at one point, so he's got almost a full second off that lead of Glazier. I don't know if Glazier pushed too hard and wore out the tires a little bit or whatever, but Swearingen is definitely making a charge at him here. And he's separated himself from Ed Simpson.
You see that gap there looking back. FBR Motorsports Sim Rig Accessories.
Camera angles we can get here in iRacing. Just anywhere you want to look at.
Pretty much.
Want to see what that right front suspension is doing, you can just check right in. Swearingen now under a second as I look up. Trami's still trying to find a way around Ricci there for that 7th position. He's been back there for about the last 6 or 7 laps now. As Chris Smart kind of drives away from these two.
He just can't quite get there. He gets close to the inside and just can't close it here.
Got a good run right here, but you can see just Ricci just is able to keep the throttle down a little harder and just get that momentum off the top. But it looks like Bob might have stayed a little closer this lap down that back straightaway. Let's see if he can find something on the bottom as they come around to start lap 36 or 37 now.
And Scott Kuka's coming down pit lane.
I'll show my age here a little bit with you, Mike. I used to go to Phoenix here when I was, I'm going to say a kid, back in the late 70s, early 80s. This track is completely flopped around with these motorhomes. Where these motorhomes are on the back straightaway, used to be the front straightaway, full set of grandstands. I kind of get turned around here sometimes watching these on this new track.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
really good around there.
I definitely get that after calling so many of these races with this new setup and new track layout and stuff, and then you have a league that's like, yeah, we don't want to do that. Let's go back to the legacy style. I'm like, oh crap, forget where I'm at.
There's Ryan Steele making his way up another couple spots. He just got around Ron Hollyfield. He's now just got around Barry Phil. Now is up to the 11th spot after coming from the back after that last caution. Getting up in the front, Swearingen now less than a half a second back of Bentley Glazier for that lead. I'm having to think that Bentley wore those tires out, or Swearingen just saved his one way or the other, but we're about to have a fight for the lead after Glazier's led every lap of this race. What is Pump and Pantry?
I have no idea.
Pump and Pantry. Pumpandpantry.com Chevrolet of Bentley Glazier. Swearingen knows he's got to get up here and lead a lap and get that bonus point. And hope Chad Simpson has a little bit of trouble somewhere and falls back out of the top three. I think the scenario that was given to us earlier by Bob Beltrami is somehow Swearingen can win this race, lead the most laps, and Chad Simpson finishes in third. They will end up tied. The tiebreaker falls back to the one with the most wins.
Glazier is not going easy there on Swearingen as they have Keith Kelman in front of them now. Almost going to use him as a little bit of a pick there.
They did. That's a nice move there. Swearingen is now up on the tailgate of Bentley Glazier, putting some pressure on him. We come around and start lap number 43.
A little higher line there through the dogleg for Swearingen as he tries to close it in on Glazier. Less than 0.2 of a second separate them now.
It translates the word about a truck length. He forced myself to say truck. I think Swearingen's definitely got the better truck right now. You can see him make a run off the corner right there. And just closing up right on the back of Bentley Glazier for that lead.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Swearingen has the long run truck.
I think we saw that last week at Richmond too, if I remember correctly. Swearingen was just good. Actually, Swearingen was just good on all runs last week.
Yeah, Swearingen led 81 laps last week, so he definitely had the truck to beat.
It got a little spicy at the end last week, and Butch Davis taking his second win. Butch sitting up in the stands watching this one.
Yeah, I wonder which FBR teammate he's rooting for.
Let's see. If he's still out there, he can tell us in chat.
Go by Wayne Fleet there.
I like that tribute truck that Wayne Fleet put together, that tribute to Mark Martin's Busch Grand National car, that Winn-Dixie number 6. That looks really good on the track on that truck.
Wayne Fleet coming down pit lane.
And looking to the outside, looks like he had a good enough truck to make up the ground and catch Bentley Glazier, but getting around him is a whole nother topic. Seeing pit stops right now, we're looking at least, these guys are coming in for fuel about now, we're probably going to look at least 2 stops in this race, maybe 3.
Yeah, we'll see how far these guys try and go.
Spurgeon looks to be just a little bit stronger here, but he's just not able to get up alongside of Glazier and get him out of that groove where he can get by. I think if Spurgeon can find a way around, he's going to put a little separation on the field here. He wiggles a little bit there, jumping down into that tri-oval.
Yeah, I think Glazer's driving out of his rear view mirror more than he's driving out of his windshield.
For the rear view with him here. You can see Spurgeon with a great run up on him, dives down underneath. He's going to be able to hold on to the spot here. Now Glazier's going to get a good run off the top again that keeps that momentum up, but they get down here into the tri-oval. Spurgeon cuts down to the bottom. Might have him cleared right here for the lead. Not quite. He's not enough to get up in front of him. Glazier's going to come back up on the outside. They head down the back straightaway. Good side-by-side battle here for the lead. We get hit 50 laps here. I think Spurgeon might have led that lap as they come across.
Definitely close. The timing and scoring is going crazy with how many passes are going back and forth.
I think it's Spurgeon just needs to clear him right here, getting down into the next corner. If he can get moved up in front of him, he does that right here, getting down in the corner. He moves up in front of Glazier. But Glazier's going to dive back down underneath the bottom, do that tri-oval section. But Spurgeon is able to get a good run on the outside. Now he's cleared him for the lead here. Let's see if he can put a little separation on him. He gets about 2 or 3 truck lengths on him right there real quick. See if he can start running away here. He's got to get out in front and stay out in front for a long time, lead the most laps if he's going to have a chance.
He's going to have to lead almost every lap from here.
Pretty much. 75, about 77 laps left to go, or 73 laps left to go at this point.
Yeah, he only can not lead 10 of them. So, yeah, Bentley Glazier definitely did his job as far as leading laps. He's had a pretty good short run truck. Butch Davis checking in the chat, saying that both Lyle and Chad are better at the long run, but Chad usually better at the saving fuel. So.
Pretty clean racing throughout, other than that one early incident, and we might just see this go green the rest of the way, and then fuel mileage might come into play before this is over with.
We're definitely seeing some drivers make moves on track here. One of those drivers is another FBR contingent in that 77 Kingsford Chevy, and Chris Samard up 11 spots, running inside the top 5 now.
He's been charging to the front this entire race, but he is about 4 seconds back now from Chad Stearns for that move up into that 4 spot. Let's see if he can make up any ground there. He's looked really good since the drop of the green flag. Looks like we got Jacob Jensen coming in for a pit stop. And the 07 of Keith Kelman as well.
Butch Davis checking in the chat. Looks like Bentley Glazer's going to come in.
Agree with you on that there, Butch. I think Chad's going to wait to pit until Swearingen does, so he at least gets that one bonus point. Good call on that one.
Yeah, makes it basically back to even unless, you know, Lyle can lead all those laps. But with the dominant truck that Glazer had on that short run, I'm sure he's going to get back to the front and lead most of the race. So they're even on bonus points. It'll be 4 positions.
Now putting that 16 truck of David Weaver down a lap. They've lapped up to the 10th place car now at this point. And with pit stops happening, Chris Samard now up to 3rd. If he gets a caution right here, he's up 13 spots after starting 16th on the field.
He's almost 4.5 back of the battle for the lead here that's going to be happening.
Spurgeon was able to put a little bit of a distance there on Simpson once he took the lead. Got out there in some clean air. But he's not leaving him though. Chad's still hanging on right there. Only a little less than a second and a half back.
Yeah, Chad was trying to get around David Weaver there and finally has. So I expect that gap to at least stabilize, maybe even shrink just a little bit here. The question becomes, though, how far can they go on this fuel run?
60 laps. Getting ready to start the 61st lap. We've got about half the field now have pitted. 9 cars left on the lead lap right now with JTW holding on to that 9th spot. We're just running consistent laps. Right now running laps at about the high 28s. That's up with a 28.702. Simpson's about a tenth and a half slower.
Well, and that's the other thing. You have Chad Simpson out here on those old tires, you know, 62, 63 laps on them. And then you have Keith Kelman on fresh tires trying to race his way around these guys up front.
Yeah, you can definitely see the difference in those fresh tires. Kelman really hasn't been up front all day, hasn't really been a contender, but you see with those fresh tires, he's all over the back of Simpson here trying to work his way and get his lap back. A few more drivers coming in for their pit stop. Chris Samard's in, Jeff Buell and Ricci both in the pits. I think Chad would just kind of let Kelman go there, not really put up a fight. He's looking for fighting for the championship here. It looks like that's exactly what he's going to do right there.
Yeah, just trying to not give up too much time, but also let Kelman by. Oh.
It looks like Swearingen's going to dive. Oh, they're both going to dive in the pits. I kind of thought Chad would do what Butch Davis was saying there in chat and stay out and at least get a lap led. But he follows Swearingen into the pits.
Well, as long as he stays right with Swearingen, it's not going to be an issue.
Agreed. Good point.
I mean, because he will have to he'll have to beat Chad by, I want to say, 4 positions if he doesn't get the bonus point for leading the most laps.
Going to hand Bob Beltrami the lead. Ryan Steele second. Brian Barnes third. All trucks have pitted way back on lap 7.
Well, if this does turn out to be a fuel mileage race,
halfway there, what are we, 125 laps? They went 65 laps before they came in, so How many laps? I don't know how many laps we ran under the caution. Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean,
Almost think maybe they could go the distance.
Yeah, if they can get to 70, I mean, even 69, 70, if they could possibly make it there.
I could see somebody trying to stretch it from here. They put it around lap 65 or 60, halfway through of 120 laps. I could see him trying to stretch it all the way to the end. Could be interesting who we see out in front of this when this winds down to the final few laps.
Yeah, if we're talking basically a one-stop race. I mean, I know I probably haven't said it with you here too much, but Ryan Steele seems to find a way to win these fuel mileage races.
And he's one of only 5 drivers with a win here at Phoenix in the past, so he's shown that he can win here. It was 4 years ago, back in December of 21. He's finding himself in second right now. I think Beltrami, Steele, and Barnes up there in the top 3, just right now, just hoping for a caution. They put it back on lap 7, so I'd expect them in probably sometime within the next 10 laps. And as I say that, here comes Bob Beltrami down into the pits.
And Brian Barnes. So Chad Stearns right now is the first truck that came down pit lane. He came down on lap 57. He is in front of Bentley Glazer. Glazer dominated the early portion of this race, but now he is trying to battle with Chad Stearns to get back to the front.
Did Stearns only take on 2 tires on that pit stop? Is that what gave him a little bit of advantage here?
1483 to 1495.
No, I guess not. He's just laid down some good laps since he came out of the pit, so Ryan Steele's definitely going to have to pit here sometime soon. Going to hand Chad Stearns the lead.
That definitely is. Well, while we're doing this, I noticed somebody jumped up here in the waiting room. We're going to go ahead and pull him in and talk to him. Hey, welcome in, Butch. Sad to see you not out there racing, but you're welcome to join us anytime you want.
Evening, gentlemen. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those deals where I get home from work late on this night and just didn't get an opportunity to get the update done in time. I got Ryan Steele finally pitting from the lead, so he played the long game here.
Yeah, he came in on lap 7 under that caution, topped off, went to the back because he pitted on that at the very end of that closed pit, so trying to stretch it as far as he can. It looks like we're getting somewhere around 60 laps, so it's going to be close to see if he can make it to the end.
Yeah, you could definitely stretch it to about 63. Steele's one of the guys that is definitely good at saving tires and saving fuel, being strong at the end of the runs. For what it's worth, he's chasing me in the points championship. Came into this race 20 points behind. Obviously, the drop week's going to mix that up a little bit, but I think he's got to finish, I believe, 5th or 6th. Probably 6th now because he did get a lap lead and gets a bonus point for that. But he comes out in a pretty good spot here, so not horrible for him.
That comes out in some clean air back there in that gap between Ryan Barnes and JTW back in when he came out here in 10th.
Yeah. So he's going to get clear of Wayne Fleet, and then he's got pretty good sailing here for a little bit. About probably about a third of a lap until he hits traffic again, if he hits it at all.
We are starting to look at a 3-car battle here for the lead as Chad Stearns about 0.3 of a second out in front of Bentley Glazer. And Swearingen right there on the back of Glazer again. Swearingen's got to get his way to the front here. At this point, I don't think if he led every lap from here on, I don't think he's going to lead the most laps. So he's going to have to hope for a little bit of bad luck for Chad Simpson to fall back if Swearingen's going to take this title.
Stearns is definitely on an alternate fuel strategy than everybody else, pitting at around lap 57. So He's definitely not going to be able to make it to the end. He's probably banking on getting another yellow or getting a yellow.
Yeah, same thing with Bentley. They're hitting on lap 57 as well. You can see Swearinger and Chad Simpson both going to the end here. Unless that caution just saved him a lot of fuel earlier. Swearinger looking up underneath of Chad Stearns to take that lead away, get back out in front.
Stearns getting a little bit of the outside wall there.
Yeah, he did got a little bobble there, caught the fence just a little bit. And that's going to let Swearinger get to the front. He's pulling JTW along with him. He's trying to get his lap back here.
Yeah, Justin's driving a little angry tonight. kind of got sideswiped there by Fleet early on and really put a damper on his run for the night.
He's trying to make the most of it right now. Get that lucky dog position right now. If a yellow does come out, I assume we use a lucky dog here in WSRL.
Yep. I think for the time being, I don't think he'll really pressure Lyle to get around him just yet. Those guys communicate pretty well as a team, and Lyle may even let Justin go at some point if he sees that he's not going to really reel anybody in.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was wondering if Lyle just doesn't benefit him just to kind of let JTW go by, not fight with him too much, not wear his tires out. He's got about 10 car lengths back to Chad Stearns in that second position, about a second gap right now, so not really any threat at the moment to lose the lead.
The biggest thing is, go ahead.
I was say Jacob Jensen just came down for his second pit stop.
You got to remember with the trucks, one of the biggest things is dirty air. Lyle might be driving just a little bit harder, watching that fuel number, but driving just a little bit harder. It's a teammate and all behind him, but he definitely does not want dirty air tearing up those front tires.
Good point.
We've seen several drivers try and make the inside work to make a pass, and they just can't quite get there for multiple laps. Is that something to do with dirty air kind of being put on that outside truck a little bit, or from that outside truck?
It is. Yeah, it is. This place has always been a little on the difficult side to make a pass. If you get down on the bottom, you cannot get out of the corner well on throttle. The way that this truck drives here, it's kind of pushy on entry and loose on exit, so you have to kind of offset your corner a little bit to really get any kind of run out when you're on the bottom. But if you do that, you don't really get the run to get to the bottom, so you're kind of behind caught between a rock and a hard place with that. You just have to kind of hope that the guy in front of you does make a small mistake, enough for you to get a run, even to the point where, the classic slide job to that.
And that track that down on the bottom that gets really flat down there's also got to really upset the truck, especially coming back up onto the banking.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that I think it was last season, we were hitting that so hard we were actually damaging the trucks. We were bending the splitter. Some guys ended up bending the fender. Guys are getting, undercarriage damage or whatever. So it's nice that they kind of fixed that to where we can run back down there again, but it's a pretty violent transition.
Yeah,
got Simpson closed in on Glazer. It looks like he's trying to make a move now. Swearinger, you still got him pulling JTW around.
Yeah.
Coming up on Ron Hollyfield now.
Yeah, definitely, looking at the onboard, it definitely is not as bad as it was last year, because I remember that it would, like, if you went on board, it was a hard bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching that battle with Chad Simpson trying to find a way around Glazer. He's right up on the back bumper. He's going to take the look to the inside here as they head down into the what do we call this, turn 4 of the trioval? I'm not sure what they call it here, but they come across the line, and Simpson's going to clear him. He's going to move up into that third spot. Just a nice, clean pass. That's the best pass we've probably seen all night. Most guys have got up underneath the bottom, and they've had to fight lap after lap, but Simpson just dove up underneath Glazer and it's going to drive past. I guess Glazer is on 8-lap older tires.
And the guy on the move right now is Ryan Steele. He's up to 7th. He just got around Brian Barnes. You got to remember, Steele has no concerns about fuel, and he has the freshest tires on the track.
Really good point there, Butch. And he has won, like I said, we said earlier, he has won a race here. He's got some experience here at Phoenix. See if any of these guys in front of him start to fade back a little bit, as he is about 3.5 seconds back or 4 seconds back from Beltrami right now in that 6th spot.
And he's running almost 0.3 of a lap faster than Beltrami right now.
And looks like Simpson's now up underneath of Chad Stearns for that 2nd spot. Let's see if he can make quick work of Chad as he did with Glazer just a couple laps ago. Looks like Chad Stearns going to put up a little bit more of a fight.
Yeah, just like we were saying, some of the drivers can make that work and just start to kind of drive away, as Chad Simpson is all over the rear bumper, going to try it again, diving down to the inside as they come towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, Stearns slipped up a little bit there. Chad's got a better run on the bottom. Can't use Chad. I have to say the last names.
But Stearns with a good run on the outside, but Simpson hangs on with him this lap. I think he's going to have him cleared as they go down his back straightaway down into turn 3. That trioval section of the start-finish line. See if he can slide up here in front of him and take that 2nd spot away. It's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, Stearns is having a harder and harder time holding that middle line, sliding up a little bit mid-corner.
Oh, almost contact right there.
Simpson going to try to use the higher line, keep that momentum up, get the run down the straight. Seems to work.
If not, Simpson's got some fresh air. Let's see if he can put a gap on Stearns and Glazer here behind him and start to run down Swearingen. Swearingen is almost 4.5 seconds out in front of these guys here now.
Yeah, Simpson's not so concerned with winning the race, but you know, he just has to stay within a couple positions of Swearingen. He'll bring home the championship. So
yeah, if he can stay right here in 2nd, that championship is his.
Yeah, Simpson is definitely our numbers guy when it comes to figuring out the points and, you know, kind of having a heads up on the drop weeks way ahead of time. So he knows what he's got to do. Both Lyle knows as well. Lyle's going to be out there trying to lead as many laps as he can. Kind of, it's one of those deals where Lyle's got to either hope for a yellow that really catches Chad out, or you know, something along those lines. Chad's just really, really strong at this track tonight.
Yeah, looking all throughout the field. I mean, you got the top 2, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th in place cars, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place trucks, all right here together. But look back, everybody's about 2 or 3 seconds away from each other. So everybody kind of distance away. Lesser chance of any kind of incident, caution flag coming out. I think we're going to see this race go green to the end here. Only about 20, 30 laps left to go.
yeah, like I said, with the drivers that showed up tonight, there's a better chance of it going green.
You're not saying because Butch Davis is on the trailer, are you?
No, not Butch Davis, no.
Well, he would not be wrong.
I don't know.
As I said last week, this is not one of my better tracks or one of my favorites. So
I think almost everybody says that, and then they run almost lights out. So
I'm sorry. I'm still one of those guys that says this place is only 3 turns, not 4.
Yeah.
You've got Steele creeping back in on Beltrami again, about 2.7 back, but he's running about a tenth to a tenth and a half a lap faster.
yeah, that would be nice to see Bob Beltrami in victory lane. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Has Bob
In a
picked up
minute.
a win this season at all?
No, unfortunately. He's been close a few times.
Yeah, Bob's one of those guys that he runs all the laps, and if something falls just a certain way, he'll be there to win the race. But I think he's been on the podium a couple times this season.
Sounds like most of my 25-year driving career.
Bob's been in a position a couple times this season, both on Tuesday and Friday, to pick up a win at the plate tracks. Unfortunately, a lack of friends in right places has cost him an opportunity to win.
I don't know.
You're not
Plate
saying
track,
Bob doesn't have any friends. So you're just saying
No, I would
you're
never
saying
say
you
that.
weren't there for him. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
no, usually the plate tracks you have to watch out for FBR because there's so many of them in the league.
Yeah, there's a bunch of us. Well, the thing is we end up usually wrecking each other at some point, and it's usually me getting wrecked, so.
Bentley Glazier's close, still trying to make up some ground there on Chad Stearns for that 3rd spot.
Lyle's
Very good.
opened up the gap to Simpson to 5 seconds now, so. I think Simpson's just kind of conceded the fact that Lyle's probably going to win this race, and he just wants to solidify his position in P2 and bring home a nice little trophy.
Yeah, less than 23 laps left to go now. I don't think fuel mileage is going to come down to play. I think all these guys are going to run enough fuel to make it to the end.
Well, remember Stearns and Glazer. I don't think either of them are going to make it.
No, I don't think so. 57 laps? No.
No, I think you're right.
Bidding on lap 57, they've got to go 68.
Yeah, that could be
That's a long way.
That could put Chris Simard up onto a podium after starting back in 16th. He's our big mover tonight, up 11 spots right now, up into 5th.
Yeah,
Those
FBR
30
podium
push-
sweep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a nice way for the guys to end out the season.
Virgin just keeps putting a little more distance on Chad Simpson, almost 5.5 seconds now. Looks like JTW is kind of trading spots back and forth with Swerge, and JTW has got himself unlapped right now.
No.
No?
Yeah, he's still lap down.
Oh, my
No, I-
leaderboard showed different. Sorry.
That's because I clicked back on this Bentley Glazer battle here.
Oh,
with Chad
gotcha.
Stearns.
Gotcha.
Stearns coming down, so yeah. Glazer's probably going to come down next lap.
Yep.
So the next obstacle in Swearingen's way is going to be Barry Phil. Just navigate around him carefully and try not to lose too much time. Otherwise, I don't really time is an issue.
No, he still puts another 1/10 of a second on Chad Simpson right now. We're down on about 18 laps left to go.
See what Simpson's doing here.
This would give Swergen a league leading 6 wins on the season if he can hang on here.
Barry Phil moves up the track, gives Lyle a little bit of extra room there. Nice to see.
I'll say that's definitely something that I tend to see more in this league than some of the other leagues is when you're going up against some lap traffic, usually they move to the high side and kind of stay out of your way for the most part. There are a few that don't, but
Yeah, I think you get that everywhere you go, though. Some guys, they don't know better. You know, and you hope they learn over time, but nothing's a guarantee in racing. So Lyle's in a great spot right now, sitting pretty leading the race, and a nice big gap to Brian Barnes. Barnes is about 4 seconds up the track, so he's not going to have to worry about dirty air or even having to lap him as JTW gets a piece of the outside wall. Chuck doesn't look any worse for wear.
Yeah, he hasn't hit anything since lap 7. I think he was getting a little...
Oh, he just nailed it again.
yep.
And again.
The crew told him before the race, look, we've got all season, all winter long to fix it. So
Yeah.
Just go ahead and use it up.
Well, he just caught it again there on the back straight. He's fine. I think he made a little bit of an adjustment there. I think those tires have about had it.
They came in on lap 67, so yeah, definitely. And I'm sure he's been running probably faster than he probably wanted to, trying to stay there with the Swearingen for all those laps.
Got Simpson getting through some traffic here as he gets around Wayne Fleet. David Weaver is the next truck up the track for him.
Blazers actually made up a little bit of ground on Chad Simpson, but as we pointed out earlier, he is going to have to pit after pitting on lap 57. I don't think he can make it 13 more laps. Like you said, it'll be 70 laps. Maybe he can stretch that fuel out. You guys did pit earlier on lap 65, so maybe he can go 5 more laps. I don't know. That seems like it'd be pretty thin.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like watching his speed and everything right now. I think he's trying to do everything he can to make that fuel stretch, but I don't see it happening. If he does, man, he's a better man than me, that's for sure.
Uh, 154.
Like about one of the better races we have on the track right now is between Julie Ricci and Jacob Jensen for that 9th spot. Everybody else pretty well separated out.
Yeah, 10 laps to go.
Jacob just got a little piece of the wall. Yeah. I think all these guys are a little bit worn out. Tires are a little bit worn out. All right, tires are a whole lot worn out. Yeah, you don't get the brakes with the yellows and stuff like that. It just, you know, it can drain on you. There's Jensen really getting the back end of that truck slung out.
I hope Swearingen's got himself a good, comfortable rig because he's going to run about 400 laps before this is over with tonight after practice earlier.
It's amazing how many laps some of these drivers come in and run. Glazer down pit lane.
It looks like he might be coasting as slow as he's going. He is probably going to fall all the way back to what, about, I'm guessing about 8th or 9th at this point.
Maybe a little further than that even.
I think you might want to keep an eye on that 64 truck because he's got to be getting low on fuel too as he taps the wall again.
Where is it now? 7 seconds out away of Chad Simpson. So Chad settled into not going to have a chance to win this race. He's just going to try to lock the championship down, and he's exactly where he needs to be to do that.
And it looks like neither one of them are really concerned with fuel mileage after pitting on lap 65. So,
we're getting ready to start the 120th lap. 5 laps left to go. 6 laps left to go at this point. Been a really good, clean race here. 18 trucks started. We're down to 17. Only had 1 caution. Actually, I guess maybe we're down to 15 now.
Yeah, it looks like Hollyfield and Stearns called it a night.
yeah.
Didn't see what happened to Stearns. He was up there fighting for the lead there for a little while after those pit stops.
I don't see anything with him. I mean, maybe he knew he wasn't going to race for a top 10
Jensen
after having to...
Jensen completely sideways. What great save right there. He came off the corner. I just don't have it up on my screen. He was dirt tracking coming off the corner right there. Those tires must be gone on Jensen's truck.
No caution either, so...
He saved. It was a really good save on his part. He was completely sideways down across the start-finish line.
All the guys up front are breathing a sigh of relief with no yellow coming out.
Yeah. Well, looks like Glazer got a speeding penalty in pit lane, spent 55 seconds in his box. So he is
I thought I saw him come in a second time.
a couple laps down.
So it's very possible he ran out on the track and knew that he had to coast to get to his box. And if you're coasting with no fuel, you can't afford to tap the brake to make pit road speed.
Yeah. So 6 trucks on the lead lap. 2 laps to go. White flag in the air for Lyle Swearingen. Looks like Lyle will bring home the victory with ease with a over 7-second lead here.
Chad Simpson right there behind him. Nice win there by Lyle. With that 6th win of the season. He did everything he had to do here tonight. And Chad right there behind him in 2nd. Did everything he had to do to take the championship. Just a great run by both those drivers.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer drove angry that last lap, a 27-21, fastest lap of the race by almost 2/10 at least.
Over a tenth and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Samard going to come home with a podium finish up into 3rd. Starting 16th, 13 spots up this week. And Bob Beltrami with a nice 4th place finish as well. And Steele coming home with a rounding out the top 5. JTW with a good recovery after being involved in that lap 7 caution. Is going to work his way back up to 7th. Like Butch said earlier, maybe driving a little angry, but he's going to get himself up into 7th position.
Well,
We
thanks
got
for
Ricci, Jensen, and Weaver finishing out the top 10. So, yeah.
Yeah, heck of a run there. Well, thanks for joining us, Butch.
Anytime, guys, anytime.
Well, we'll let you get out of here, and we'll get our interviews done. You can celebrate the podium finishes with the FBR contingent here.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
That was a heck of a race. 1 caution. And the top 2 in the points
Like
Are the
Spurgeon
top
might have ran
two.
out of fuel doing donuts out there after the victory.
I will. I'll let you talk to Chris real quick, and then we'll
Yep.
go from there. There you go.
Chris Smart, welcome. Good run there tonight. Started back in 16th. Did you think you had a chance to get up onto the podium after starting way that far back?
I didn't think so. I was figuring stuff out as we ran because I didn't get any practice, and I fell pretty far back there, and I got myself up to 5th, but I thought Bentley and I forget who else was it. Well, at least I thought Bentley was going to save enough, and it worked out in my favor that they had to go in. So.
Well, it looks like that 3rd place finish is going to help secure your top 3 there in the points for the final season. You got any reflections back on the season as we finish the last race here tonight?
I wish I had a better second half. I was right with them for a while, and second half was good. I had a bunch of good finishes, but I've also wrecked out a couple of times, and I missed last week, and that hurt. And I wish I had a better second half, but it is what it is. I'm happy with 3rd. I wish I could have got a little bit more, but 3rd is a good place to be. So.
We enjoyed you watching you run up through the field tonight. You got anybody you want to thank before we get out of here tonight?
Yeah, just all my teammates, Simmering Accessories Creation Studios, my wife and son, and my father that passed away last July. I just wanted to shout out to him. He loved watching our races and my races, and he would be missed. So.
I appreciate it, Chris. We'll good run again tonight, and we will see you again next season.
Thank you, Chris.
Chad up here. Hey, Chad, Mike from the booth, man. How's it going?
It's going fantastic.
So, what were you kind of thinking after Swearingen just basically drove off there towards the second half of that race?
I wasn't really worried about Lyle. I had a 5-point lead. I had 4 points. I could lose to him. I saw him lead the most laps. I saw him winning, but I was focused on Stearns and Bentley's weird strategy and getting around them and just putting myself into a spot to take the championship, which I believe I accomplished successfully. If we could get the points updated, I should be champion by 2. So I wasn't really worried. I just needed to stay around him on track, like positionally. And I'm 1 spot behind. That was all I needed.
Yeah, definitely. After we realized that Lyle probably wasn't going to lead the most laps, you only had to finish 3rd and not lead a lap to secure the victory. So finishing 2nd and Lyle not getting the bonus point for leading the most laps. Yeah, you are definitely right. You should be champ from what my calculation says. So congrats on that.
Well,
I know
Lyle did lead the most laps by 10.
Did he? Oh, did he? Ooh.
He ended up with 61.
Ooh. I thought it was going to be closer than that. So, well, then you should. Then you should.
The points here, like drop
won.
weeks, you still keep bonus points from drop weeks, which is a little weird. But from what I had looked at, it's 2 points.
Yeah, I know. Bob said before the race, even if Lyle led the most laps, got all the bonus points, and won the race, you had to finish. If you finished third, it'd be tied. So I mean, regardless, you should win. From what I know.
Yeah, we're just waiting for official results to be finalized.
Hopefully, we can trust Mike's math.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't realize you kept bonus points. I was just looking at them like, oh, so you have 7, so you have 5 you can give. So yeah, it should be there. I know a couple weeks ago when you had a bad week, or not a bad week, a week where somebody shouldn't have wrecked you. It kind of tightened up that points battle more than it should have been. But
Yeah, the Daytona race was definitely frustrating, but then Lyle threw it away next week at Richmond.
but you guys had a heck of a season. Congrats on your second place finish tonight, your season championship, pretty sure, and look forward to seeing what you guys can do next season. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here, though, Chad?
Yeah, thanks, Secure, Crow Pro, Kip Og on Twitch, the FBR Simrig Accessories Creation Studio, Sim Motion, Ellis Engineering, FDT, FR, Satellite Racing, FBR Motorsports, everybody here. Lyle, did what he needed to do tonight to give himself a shot, and I think I was just able to defend. So hopefully the fan club gets a nice little cheer out of that if we ever get that confirmed.
Definitely. So we'll see what happens here momentarily. I think Bob was gonna update it fairly quickly here, so see how that goes. But nonetheless, we look forward to seeing what you guys can do next season. Congrats again.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I reached out to Bob a minute ago. He said he's working on the points right now, trying to finish up the scoring. Or to Bob, and then we'll see if he gets back with us here real shortly, confirm that. But by the math we were given earlier, it looks like Chad's going to lock that down unless something's changed.
Definitely. Well, here's Lyle for you, Chris.
Wow, welcome to the booth, Chris. There was some racing media.
doing?
Good race tonight, buddy. It looks like you had your goal set for the night and you accomplished everything you needed to do.
Yeah, I qualified up front, not P1, but up in the front enough where I can make something happen. Got by Bentley early enough where I can capture most laps led for that bonus point. Chad wasn't able to lead a lap during this race, so just kind of maximizing the bonus points the best I can. Unfortunately, he still finished P2. I don't think that was enough. I think he's got this one locked up for the championship, but did all I could. You can't ask for anything more.
So it looks like we just received confirmation from Bob Beltrami that it looks like Chad is gonna take the title by 2 points. You did everything you had to do tonight. You came up just 2 points short. Just one race somewhere throughout the season. Can you think of a race where you just maybe could have done something a little bit different?
Last week, not spinning out. that's pretty much the one that comes to mind. Yeah, I just at Richmond just wanted to race for the win instead of the points, and we were tied at that point. Chad and I were tied in points, and I think he had most laps. He might have. I don't remember. He might have had most laps led. So I knew I had to try to at least try to win. Hopefully, have Butch between him and I. At least have have him 2 spots behind me to minimize the damage. But then I just was racing too hard out of 4 and just looped it. But I mean, there's plenty of other races too. I spun out Barnes and myself in Kansas or Kentucky early. I failed to lead a lap at several races. I could have been the 2 points right there. It just was pretty awesome how close this was between Chad and I. We did really well, and this wasn't really Chad's cup of tea either. He's more kind of like road course, open wheel guy. He's not really a stock car guy per se, but I mean, he did really well this season to learn the car and figure out what he's got to do. So pretty cool. And for my Tuesday seasons, obviously this was the best one. I usually do pretty bad on Tuesdays, but good change of pace, so we'll take it.
Yeah, we've only been here for the last 3 races, but it's been just a real pleasure watching you guys fight it out. Coming down to the last race. You have anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here?
Teammates at FBR Motorsports, the FBR Sim Rig Accessories Creation Studio, WSRL for playing the races up to every week. Yeah, just glad with the guys that race around. Really fun bunch of guys for the most part. We'll see what happens next season.
Well, congrats on another win on the season, and we will see you again next season, I'm sure, Lyle. Thanks a bunch.
Hope you guys have fun.
So yeah, we did get confirmation that Chad is the season champion by 2 points. And Chris Sumard winds up 3rd, Butch Davis 4th, and Ryan Steele 5th.
That's a pretty tight point battle. 20 race season. You come down to just 2 points. Pretty exciting season with WSRL. I kind of wish I'd have seen the whole thing.
Yeah, and and the top 3 guys are separated by less than 50 points. So, heck of a battle there. And then 4th and 5th were separated by 1 point, 634 to 633. So, these guys put on a show every week, and it's always a pleasure to have them to show up and put on this race. So, congrats on that. Let's go ahead and go through the race results real quick. Of the Season 52 Championship race, Lyle Swearingen wins the race, but loses the season points battle by 2 points to season champion Chad Simpson in 2nd. Chris Sumard finishes 3rd. Bob Beltrami tried a little different strategy, just didn't have anybody have bad luck in front of him, winds up P4. Ryan Steele with a top 5. Brian Barnes, JTW, battles back after the first caution on lap 7 to finish P7. Julian Ricci, Jacob Jensen, and Earl Weaver round out that top 10. Got Bentley Glazer, David Weaver, Barry Phil, Wayne Fleet, Keith Kelman, the top 15. Chad Stearns, Ron Hollingfield, and Scott Kukas finish out the 18 drivers that took part. With that being said, season 52 is in the books. We look forward to seeing what these guys can do for season 53, as they're going to take, I believe, probably a month off, and then be back here on Sim Racing Media. But anything you want to say before we get out of here, Chris, on the season that you saw?
Like I said, I kind of wish I'd have been around a little earlier, but I really appreciate you guys having me in the booth. It's been a lot of fun with WSRL. Just some great racing there tonight. One caution early on just from one little mistake, and otherwise it was green all throughout. And we just saw, we saw Swearingen doing everything he had to do, win the race, lead the most laps. Chad Simpson doing what he had to do to secure the title, just stay up in that top 3. And then we saw Chris Sumard charging 13 spots all the way up to 3rd. So we had a little bit of everything tonight, and it was just to finish off the season. I'm really looking forward to the season 53, and it's been a lot of fun in the booth here with you, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Definitely, man. With that being said, and closing the books on probably one of the most closest battles that we've had for a championship race here. See what season 53 can hold, and see what FBR can do after having the top 4 positions in this season. See what Bob Beltrami can whip up here as well as far as the schedule goes. But from all the drivers of the Western States Racing League and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys good night, and we'll see you next season.